Good morning. I am really excited to be here, not only because it's warm here next to the pizza oven, it's very cold outside, but because this is something I've been looking forward to ever since I've heard about the social gastronomy. First of all, introduce yourself, tell our audience who you are and what's going on here.
So, good morning. We're at the Cloudflare house in Davos. My name is Schaus. I'm from Luxembourg and living in Brazil, and I'm the Social Gastronomy Movement Coordinator at Gastromotiva, a Brazilian social organization that works with education and food waste reduction in several projects across South America.
So, what do we got going on here?
So here we have a social gastronomy catering. So first of all, maybe I should tell you what is social gastronomy. Social gastronomy is using food as a tool for social inclusion. Because food can be very powerful. When you sit with someone, you break the bread, you connect to the person on a different level. But we feel that food can also empower people. We work with food education, we work with nutrition, food waste reduction. 1/3 of the food worldwide is getting wasted and it can be reused. Actually, we could stop world hunger by reducing all the food waste. We work with opportunities, so we offer opportunities to people. And these two young people with me have actually been through social gastronomy programs that gave them the opportunity to come here and be with us in Davos.
I love it. Okay, so tell me what we are going to make today.
So we're going to make two dishes that are actually quite similar. Both work with bread. Bread is one of the foods that is the most wasted around the world.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Bread and bananas.
Because it goes bread and bananas. So bread because it goes off so quickly.
It goes off really quickly, and it's something that we eat on a daily basis, and usually the next day it's not good anymore.
Yeah.
And it's also something that we find across all the cultures. So we have one dish which is the pain perdu, which is using the bread from the last day. It's a French recipe, French toast as they call it in America, where you take the bread from the last day, you mix it up with some eggs, you put it in the oven. It's absolutely delicious. It's
So
like
what I call this French toast, is that what's that?
Yes, it's the French toast.
Delicious.
pain perdu.
Pain perdu. Sorry, it sounds
The
much better in French.
fancy version of it. And the other dishes, which is one of my favorites actually, it's pâté. It means breadcrumbs. It's a Syrian dish that was developed by one of our former students, a Syrian refugee who came to Brazil, who we empowered through an entrepreneurship course, and who is now running his own business in Brazil. He's actually selling products in supermarkets, and he sent us this recipe to cook it here in Davos. So what we do is that we take the pizza from the day before. In his case, he always does it on Friday. He uses the pita from the whole week. And
So the pizza dough or the
pita bread.
Oh, pita
So
bread,
you eat
okay.
pita the whole week, and you always, the one you don't eat, you put it aside.
Okay.
And on Friday, you coat it up
Okay.
in breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
You mix it with yogurt, tahini, and chickpeas. And we're gonna try some of it.
Oh yes, please. I love it. So let's talk through what's going on here. Can you tell us what you're doing?
In português.
Ok, mas eu não entendo o que ela fala.
So, Bazooka is a chef from Brazil. He comes from a favela in Brazil in Rio de Janeiro, but he got empowered through a gastronomy program, and he's now here with us cooking, and he made it up to Switzerland, and now he's in Zurich.
So what were you just tasting for then? That's good.
O que você acabou de provar?
Grão de bico. Uma
Chickpeas.
marinada com mel, azeite, perfeito.
So what is it? Was there not enough salt, or was there the right amount of salt?
Sal. Muito sal, bom,
Tá, ó, tá perfeito.
perfeito.
And anything else on the chickpeas besides salt?
Não, ela principalmente
Tem algo mais no chickpea?
como azeite, mel, grão de bico.
So also our chef is always using the integral chickpea. Some dishes will take off the skin, but actually the skin has a lot of nutrition, so we always use the integral one, which is one of the concepts.
Okay, so the whole chickpea. So I spend hours taking the shells off of my chickpea. You're telling me I shouldn't be doing that?
No, you can actually use it whole.
No, actually, you can. In general, you can use more food product than you think you can. I think that a lot of times we think we have to get rid of the ugly part or the tough part, but really, with a little finesse, you can pretty much use, I'd say, at least 95% of most of the food you bring home.
So tell me about the chickpea, right? Why do you like working with it? Do you like it? Is it something you have to for a
It's an
while?
ancient food. It's something that people across cultures use all the time. It's great for your health. It's a creamy texture if you use it in purees or in sauces. So it's an awesome alternative to dairy. And then for me, hummus. right? Who doesn't love hummus?
I love hummus.
That creaminess with some pita, warm. I mean, that's one of my favorite things.
Lovely. Good. All right. Had you made this dish before?
I actually learned the story of this beautiful story of this Syrian refugee who obviously had been through a lot. And for me, it's my family used Sunday bread, the day-old bread, for bread pudding. So to hear this story, it moved me, and it was just like that relation and saying across cultures, we do use that day-old bread and create these delicious kind of family heirloom dishes. So it was my first time making it, but I felt really connected to the person who created it just through creating the dish itself.
Love it. Good. All right. Keep going.
Do you maybe want to make a pâté for us to try?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
I guess you're hungry.
I'm so hungry.
So the bread is pretty crispy. So it's because it's been a day or two before we've had it, we will say that it's crispy, or some people consider it stale, but I think that that's a mistake, right? You can still create something beautiful and delicious from it. So I'm just gonna put the toasted pita down on the plate, and then we just marinated a little bit of chickpea in olive oil. That goes down next. And it's really a rustic dish. This is something people eat at home, so toasted pine nuts with a little bit of chili flake for spice. And then this is where the magic happens. This is essentially yogurt, tahini, lemon juice, garlic, salt, and it adds this, and it kind of rehydrates and brings that bread back to life. It's also very bright and acidic. And just for some herbaceousness, we're gonna go with a little bit of chopped parsley. And that's it. Pâté.
First of all, that drizzle that you just did there, that chef drizzle, when I do it, it ends up looking like Zorro gone bananas. Secondly, herbaceousness. Now that is a fantastic word.
I'm a fan of fresh herbs. I think that for me, if I'm gonna rehydrate bread, the one thing that I want fresh all the time, I grow it. You can grow it on your windowsill. You can grow it in your kitchen. Just kind of being proactive in the way you treat food.
I love it. And you don't need that much space either,
No,
right?
I mean, a tiny little jar will go a long way. I mean, if you think about it, like basil, parsley, all that good stuff, you can just have it on your windowsill in an apartment in New York or on a balcony in LA, you know?
Absolutely. All right, Cheryl, I actually see your mouth watering from here. So do we get to try it?
Absolutely.
All right.
Let me get the spoons.
I'm gonna cut for a second.
Here we go.
And
Yeah.
it's really nice to be able to give a second life to this pita bread and to like reinvent it on a creative way.
Lovely. All right, let's do it. I'm getting in there first now. Yum, I'm about to experience the herbaceousness.
That brightness from the yogurt and the lemon.
So, I don't know if I'm being kind of weird about going on about the skin on the chickpea, but I can usually taste it, and I can't taste it. Is it a dry chickpea that you've rehydrated, or is it canned?
This is a dry chickpea that I rehydrated, and I think the trick to getting the right consistency with chickpeas is soaking them. I like to soak my chickpeas for 2 days. If I'm gonna soak them. Yeah, I mean sometimes people just throw them right in a pot. If you soak them for 2 days, they become really tender and that creaminess that I was talking about.
I love it. Okay.
There's so many tricks to reuse food. For example, in Rio we cook a lot with banana peels. So we take the banana, we take the peel, we take the white part away, and then we cook it with the dishes. Actually, the banana peel has a lot of potassium and nutritious values. And we make it into dishes, sandwiches, sauces. So last year at the World Economic Forum in Sao Paulo, actually, we served banana peel dishes, banana peel caponata, to some of the most important guests at the CEO lunch.
Banana peel caponata.
Yes, and people are usually, they try it because we don't always say what it is to test.
Right.
They try it and they go like, oh, this is actually nice, I like it, like, what is it? And we're like, banana peel, and they go like, oh, really?
So what else is in it besides the banana peel?
So this dish takes a bit of ginger, a few pimentos,
Yeah.
paprika,
Uh-huh.
paprika, tomato, soya sauce, a little bit of honey, and onions, and you just put it in the pan and fry it like this. It's so simple, and we usually put it on a bruschetta, also bread from the day before,
Right.
and we serve it during as canapes. And we try when we have a meal, when we do it like catering. For example, we have the banana peel as a starter, and then we have a banana dessert. So we try to take the ingredient and use it fully throughout the meal, and have some reminders and tell the story with the food.
Lovely. Lovely. All right. So, what now?
I think we could move to the pain perdu, so which is another version. So for those of you who don't like the spicy, we have the sweet version of saving bread. And this is also, I wanted us to try this recipe because it's a particular favorite of our friend Megan. So we wanted to bring it here. And it's something you can do so easily at home. Like I do it very often for breakfast. I had some bread the day before, and then you just reuse it with some egg.
It's actually what I do at home for my kids before they go to school, especially on a Friday morning before I get groceries for the week. I look and see in the bread bin what's there, what's not quite yet gone moldy, or maybe I scrape a little bit of the mold off, and then I do exactly this. But I'm interested to see. I see some mint here, and that's not something I use in my. I just would call it French toast, or in England I think they call it egg white.
And that's what you just mentioned is very interesting, the fridge thing. Because a big part of the food waste, especially in developed country, happens inside of the homes of people. So it's like the tomato you buy and that you don't eat, or that you just want to cut half of it, or someone who goes on a diet, or you decided to go out with friends instead of using the food. And there's so many tricks to avoid this, and it's mainly about you and your conscious. I think as a consumer we can do two things. One is when you go to the supermarket, don't pick the most beautiful tomato, because then you're just sustaining a system that is throwing away all the misfits. Try to go for the bit ugly tomato. Usually they're also more tasty. And then at home, just don't throw away your food. Respect the food. Respect the person who did your food, who grew your food, carried it for it to be in your plate. And then, all of us live in cities where there's homeless people in the street, or people who are actually hungry. So if you really have so much left in your fridge, cook it up, give it to someone in the street. Start a conversation, sit down with the person. That's what we do every night at the Social Gastronomy in Rio de Janeiro. So we cook dinner for 90 people. It's a 3-course dinner, starter, main dish, dessert. More than food, we really serve dignity, and we start a conversation with them. And it's all out of food surplus. So we work with a supermarket distributor who gets the ugly fruits because no one wants to buy them in a supermarket. We recuperate them, use them integrally, respect them, train our students to do the same, and serve them to these people in need.
All right, let's have a look.
Hello.
For the French toast. For the French toast, it's super simple. So this is, like you said, this is really easy to make at home. We start with a little bit of egg, and we're essentially making a custard. So just a little bit of egg, some nice rich cream. And then for me, my favorite spices are warm, so just a little bit of cinnamon and a little bit of clove. And the reason I use the warm spices is because we're going to use that fresh mint and a little bit of banana. And so that'll be pretty sweet. And we'll balance it out with some warm, earthy tones in the French toast itself. So once we make our batter, we just dip this inside. And you want to let it soak just for about 30 seconds or so that the custard can seep all the way through that bread. Again, when you're using day-old bread, having something to rehydrate it or add moisture is key. It's also a great tool for adding more flavor. So I'm going to let this soak for a second. And while it's doing that, I'm going to get our garnishes ready. So a little bit of banana here. Excuse me. So we have a little bit of banana. And again, I'm obsessed with herbs. This is like a common thread in my cooking. So I'm just going to pick a little bit of fresh mint. Okay. Now, just go get this chilled ham with a little bit of butter and toast it off.
And I also would like to say that the stems we can use afterwards to do a pesto or to use them to make some tea. So none of it gets wasted in the banana peel, as I mentioned before. You just open it up, take away the white part, and then you can use it however.
Why do you take away the white part? What's the, what happens?
It's more in terms of flavor. The white part has a little taste that is not so nice. Actually, if the banana is older, you can even leave it. But as we had a quite green banana, we're taking it away.
Okay.
And actually, what you can do, you can use, if you have a black banana at home that you cannot use anymore because you don't want to eat anymore, you take the whole banana, put it in your blender, and use that as a base for a cake. Including the peel, including everything, you just blend it, mix it with flour, nuts, whatever you want in your cake, put it in the oven, and you get delicious banana cake.
Wow.
I make it
Including the peel.
including the peel.
I really feel like I've been missing out on life. Amazing. Okay, so we're going to put this in the oven over there, but what are you going to do first?
I'm just gonna take this over to cook it off, and then
Okay.
I'll plate it up for you guys.
All right, okay.
Cool. Maybe while she's cooking up, we can hear a bit of.
Little cake coming here?
Yeah, sure. And a little butter. Butter.
We use it mostly savory, but can be sweet. We're actually doing videos for Carrefour right now, where we are presenting these kind of recipes. So with our partner Carrefour, we're presenting different recipes with banana peels.
Okay, so you were saying, tell me, just repeat that bit while Meg was in the other room about sometimes when people come in, you don't have protein. What do you do?
So when we serve our dinner for the homies of Rio, sometimes we don't get protein. So we take the banana peel and then we put it into breadcrumbs and egg. So we do it like a Milanesa, and we fry it and serve it to them. And many of them say, "Oh, this is so nice. Is this fish or is this meat?" But actually, this is banana peel, and they get really surprised and like, "Wow." And for kids, for example, we do cakes and we do workshops. We do brigadeiros, which is a very popular sweet for kids, and we include banana peels. And we tell them after they tried it, and they cannot even believe their eyes. Like, "Oh, really? Oh, we can eat this." And I think by eating banana peel, it makes you rethink how you eat, because that is the thing that I always thought until I arrived at Gastromotiva, that you could not eat banana peel.
No, I've never eaten a banana peel.
And then when I realized that you can, you realize, oh, but maybe I can also eat this peel and that peel and this, and you start working your creativity. And that's what we do a lot with our students. We do this workshop where we get them the food and we're like, okay, you cannot throw anything away. You have to make a dish. You have to use everything, and they start being really creative.
Amazing. Amazing.
I'm feeling a new cooking show coming on, to be honest.
So no, and with our partner Cargill and Carrefour, we try to do this cooking show. Cargill has been supporting us a lot as well in this food waste initiative. So we try to make videos to teach our students, and we really believe in peer-to-peer. So we always try to teach our students so they can teach others. And usually we take them back to their communities to cook with the kids and teach them what they learned. It's way more powerful if it comes within the community.
I love it. Okay.
See what they're doing there.
Sorry?
See if it's cooked in there yet.
Let's see if it's cooked in
I
there.
hope we can try some of it too. I still got my spoon. So.
Oh, nice.
No, and all these recipes we can also send them to you, and we can put them on the Facebook Lives on the news.
Yeah, let's do that.
Great, great.
Delicious.
Yes. And all of our recipes we try to put it with a story of a student. So yeah.
I love it.
One really cool dish as well that we do is bread out of beer surplus. So
Okay.
basically, when beer is being grown, there's a lot of the malt that is getting wasted. Sometimes it's fed to pork or it's reused, but most of the times it gets thrown away, and it's actually super nutritious and delicious. And we use it to make crackers, bread, crumble, and it's also really a nice way to reutilize the food.
Okay. Now, I'm going to say that you can't reuse your spoons. Here we go. Exactly.
So are you going to try some of these recipes at home?
I am. I mean, I do the French bread anyway, but I do not do it with mint, so I'm definitely going to add that. There's 1/5 of my family that doesn't love banana, so I may need to add the banana sparingly. But I do like that addition of the spices as well. And Megan said that it was cinnamon and ginger. Is that what she said? So I don't do that. So I'm definitely adding that into it. My other question was, can you use milk instead of cream, or is it the fat content that you need?
No, you can, I've done it with milk at home, so I don't know if there's a rule or special thing that
I should ask you.
Chef.
Can you just step it just a little closer?
Here? It's like I've lost my spoon.
Keep like frame towards me. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so tell me what your favorite meal that comes from food that you might not expect is.
difficult question. I must say I really like the banana peel and the fried one that I explained to you before. Especially if you combine it with aubergines and a tomato sauce. It's something I didn't expect.
Is that the caponata?
Yeah, the caponata.
Okay.
And there's another one actually now that came to my mind. I backpacked to Southeast Asia when I was, I think, 18, and I got to try some insects.
Okay.
And that is something that I really find delicious. I feel like this is something we always have a fear of eating an insect. And when I was in university, I would do insect degustations for the other students for them to understand like what it is. And I've tried to cook various different insects at home.
Have you?
In school.
Now, are these dried and ground up, or are they just like the full bug on a plate?
So I tried everything. I tried the full bug on the plate. People liked it more or less because some of them were just like, I'm never gonna eat this. So I made cookies, chocolate cookies, with grounded insect, which is better. And insects are high in protein, they're high in calcium, they have iron, so they're really healthy.
They're plentiful.
And they're super sustainable. For example, if you have 10 kilos of grass, you can make 1 kilo a week. Or you can make 9 kilos of crickets. So and crickets have, I think, up to 60% protein. So it makes a lot of sense to eat them. And actually in our cultures, we use, even in Europe, I'm European, we used to have insects in our dishes if you look at 200 years ago. And in South America, I've been to the Amazon many, many times. They have so many different insects that they eat there. And it's part of their culture and their identity. Or in Mexico, I don't know if you've ever been on the markets and they sell all these insects. And it's actually very tasty. It's just the shrimp from the earth. That's how I sell it usually.
Right.
It works, it doesn't work, but I feel like that was really a change for me. It changed my way.
Yeah, I think there's a branding exercise that needs to happen with insects. I remember learning that when lobsters were first being brought to people, and they weren't a delicacy, they were known as cockroaches of the sea. And I was actually rebranding them as something that was actually very special, very unique, delicious. You should be grateful to have it, that it became that delicacy rather than something that people went, oh no, a cockroach of the sea. I don't think so.
Yes, actually I did a program in Switzerland at the EPFL where we tried to work on that.
Okay.
And we were using the opposite. We said like, it's the shrimp of the earth, or it's the lobster of the earth. So we did it the other way around.
Lovely.
But I think transforming it and working with kids, there's a few chefs who work with kids and insects, and that works really well because the flavor is good. Like I liked it because of the flavor. Then I did the research and I found out about sustainability.
So tell me, what does it taste like? If you have it in a cookie, how does it transform the taste of the cookie?
I would say it's a little bit nutty. There's a nutty flavor, and then it's not that strong of a flavor. It depends. Like I've tried worms, I've tried insects, I've tried ants. Some ants have like a lemony flavor. Some worms are more equilibrated and soft. Some go out until sweet. The grasshopper, which is the most common one, I would say is slightly nutty. I once cooked it in my oven I was sharing a flat and I didn't tell anyone, and I put the grasshoppers in the oven. I cooked them, and my roommate came home and said, "Oh, Charlotte, it smells like popcorn. Did you make some popcorn?" I'm like, ah. And she opened, and I was in my room. I was like, "Wait 1 second." She opened the door and so yes.
So it takes some getting used to.
It takes some, but I think once you use them, and there are, I think, more than 3,000 kinds of insects you can eat. So imagine like all the pallets of flowers if you start exploring it.
And is there one that is like your go-to insect? If you were going to pull out and make a cake or make cookies, or does it depend on what you're going to make?
I would say the grasshopper, because it's practical. Because all the other ones are very difficult to keep or to grow if you don't have any infrastructure. So, and the grasshopper is an easy go. In 100 days it grows to full adult size, so it's the easiest.
So do you have them just growing in your...
Right now, no. Imagine. No, I don't, but I think it's a project I want to pick up later on.
Okay.
It was more an experimental time for me to try it out and see a bit the limits of people. It was more also the psychology of doing these tastings and having the people try it and see how they react.
Very
and
cool.
innovating on that side.
There is a story that my husband always tells me, that when he'd been walking through Yemen with his with a good friend of his from high school, and they came out of the desert after sort of 3 weeks, and they met up with his parents who were living in Yemen at the time, and he had just been dreaming, having had weeks and weeks of eating just whatever they kind of came across, just a really well cooked meal. And his mom brings out around the campfire a bag of crickets. And he said, it just wasn't the meal I was prepared for. So I do think that there's a rebranding exercise. I do think that it's definitely a change in mindset, isn't it?
No, and like the lobster thing you mentioned is the same for sushis. When 30 years ago people were bringing sushis to the United States, no one wanted to eat raw fish. Nowadays it's something very common. So there's a rebranding, and I think chefs, the voice of the chefs is going to be extremely important in that matter, because people we're talking about chefs. People nowadays really listen to the voice of chefs. So I know that Alex Atala, for example, works with the ant, and this is something that has an impact. Some of the Nordic chefs do as well. So I think if the chefs bring it to the table, that's already a start.
Really interesting. I'm kind of watching to see what's happening over here. So talk us through what you're doing now, Megan.
So I just, essentially because it's a custard, we want to cook it in a little bit of butter and allow it to rise and fluff up the bread a bit. Inside the pan, we added a little more butter, a little bit of agave to sweeten it up, and the bananas just to caramelize them a little bit. And so that's it. French toast. I'm going to add a little bit of that mint I promised you.
Delicious.
And this is a super simple dish anyone can make at home. Day old bread, a little bit of egg, a little bit of cream, whatever spices you want to throw in there, and whatever fruit you like, really.
Let me get a new spoon for you.
So I've watched a ton of cooking shows, and the one thing I know is that you mustn't reuse your spoon. So I put my spoon down, right?
Yes. It's
right?
like the golden rule in the kitchen.
Right?
It really is.
I know, exactly. Thank you. I know you re-washed your spoon, so you're allowed, but I didn't. Oh my goodness. Go on, put it in there, Charlotte. You're hungrier than me.
I love Pompeii. And I wanted to try Megan's for some time. It's really giving a second life and dignity to the food.
Yeah.
Very good.
Do I get to have some with some mint and a little bit of banana?
Oh, it's
She
delicious.
says being really greedy. And can you use milk instead of cream, or does cream just
Of
give a
course.
better flavor?
Of course, you can use milk instead of cream. Cream just adds a little bit more of a velvety texture when you make a custard. And milk is a little bit lighter, but some folks, even if you wanted a dairy alternative, oat milk or soy milk, any of those things could work. And actually, there's also an alternative. Like you said, if you have an old banana, you can create French toast custard with a banana. So there's like levels to how we can use these products, and I think it just takes a little bit of effort and thought on our part.
With some imagination.
Yeah, some imagination for sure.
I made a vegan once with
With
coconut
the-
milk, and I
yes.
instead of butter using the coconut fat, and
Yes,
it was delicious.
I love coconut milk. I'm literally obsessed.
Yeah. Well, that is absolutely
See a
delicious.
couple spoons just digging in.
No problem.
Yeah, with pleasure, my spoon will dig in.
Just for you, huh? When you imagine that this could have been thrown away in a normal situation.
The mint is incredible.
Yeah,
It's
fresh
very
herb really
different.
changes the dynamic of the dish. Honestly, it brightens it up and adds some. It really adds something for me. I love a herb salad. I love herb with fruit, herb and savory. It's just one of my favorite things.
What are your favorite herbs?
Oh, let's see. If I'm having fish, I love dill. If I'm having sweet, I love mint, and even sage is probably my favorite herb.
You grow all of them in your kitchen window?
Sage, parsley, basil, and chives. I grow.
Okay, love it.
Could I see just one more close up? Wait, hold on. I want to get like deep.
Can I feed it to you?
Okay, go for it.
All right, this one's for Meg. Meg, do you want some mint in there?
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna get some mint. Do you want a little bit of banana?
Yeah.
All right. All right, we're cutting the mint. Delicious. All right. Here we go, Facebook.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Brian, you
God.
want some?
It's so good, Megan. Yeah.
Wouldn't say no.
All right.
That's also the beautiful thing about food. It's really about sharing, no matter what situation you are.
I totally agree.
We're all at the same level. We're all equal, and we're just sharing a
All right,
meal.
here we go.
That's gonna make people stay to the end. I know it.
Delicious.
Oh, this is amazing.
All right. Well, I want to hear their personal stories now.
course.
Say thank you to the
Time
Facebook crowd.
Thank you.
Facebook crowd.